Hello, Reds fans. My name is Eric Phillips. I'm joined by my brother, Cory T. Phillips, and welcome to Opening Day Part 2. It's awesome, man. It's a great Tuesday in the metropolis here in the Queen City. We are excited for our Cincinnati Red Legs to get going back in Great American Ballpark tonight with first pitch at 6:40 against the Seattle Mariners. They're 8-8. It's an unbelievable situation. I told you on Friday when we were on here that if they were somehow able to manage to sweep the Buccos, that we would be in here talking about playoff matchups and getting way out over our skis and talking about how great this team's going to be. But my God, Cory, if it doesn't feel like new life, I don't know what does. We're back to 500. What's your biggest takeaway from the weekend?
Man, what an exciting weekend. Just absolutely highlighted by superstars. Between Elly De La Cruz and Hunter, our superstars shining. Got Rory shining on the golf course, being able to pull it out. And kind of sounds like we might have created an all-star of our own. And Mr. Eric Phillips right here. Tell us about your ballpark experience on Saturday, my guy.
I don't know that we got an all-star. I went 2 for 3 with my hands. That's about it. No, it was kind of wild. We got a chance to go down to the ballpark on both Friday and Saturday. And on Saturday, we sat up behind home plate and got to see Elly hit the grand slam on his bobblehead night. And that was awesome. And it would have been a great night at the ballpark just for that. But then in the second inning, I actually had a ball come up to us, hit right off my hands and straight down to the 100 level seats. Somebody down there got the souvenir dropped right in their lap because it hurt the hell out of my hands as it hit me. But yeah, I sat there in misery thinking, man, I've been to probably over 100 baseball games in my lifetime, and I've never gotten my hands on one outside of the time we bloodied that guy up in Pittsburgh, and he still came up with the ball as I tried to box him out and you reached and whiffed. But other than that, we were sitting there. We go up, we grab some more food. We come down. It's about the 7th inning. We get through the 8th, and it's Jeimer Candelario up at the plate, and he hits a couple foul balls into the screen. Next thing you know, he puts one up in the deck above us, and it ricochets up there and comes back down. I'm sitting front row of our section. I kind of lean out over the banister and hook it back to us to where it falls right into my son's lap. And in doing so, it falls right in his glove. Oh, my God, I've gotten my hands on 2 baseballs today. We're going home with one of them. I couldn't be more ecstatic. We're celebrating. We're pumped up. Very next pitch, Jeimer fouls one straight back into the screen. One pitch later, I had the same opportunity I had in the second inning, comes right up. Whack, right in the hands. And I actually skewered it this time, got a little bit of a crowd ovation. I think John Sadak even mentioned us. Shout out to John. Appreciate you calling us out there. But had the opportunity to squeeze one. And thankfully we had 2 little kids with us, so each kid got to go home with a baseball. Just overall, like I said, I've been to over 100 games, never got my hands on a ball. Got my hands on 3 in a night and went home with 2 of them. So really cool, really nice opportunity. For those that don't know, if you ever actually do catch a foul ball live at a game, you take it back to fan accommodations and they'll give you a little certificate that says, what a snag, give you the date and the player that was up to bat and all that stuff. And so really cool. Went home with a couple of those. But yeah, a night at the ballpark I won't soon forget there on Saturday night.
What a great time, man. Memories were definitely made that night, man. And definitely one the kids won't forget.
Yeah, and then my boy's 7, and so it's one of those things that we've had the opportunity with what I do at work, and we've had the opportunity to see a lot of games over the country or all around the country, and he's had a chance to sit in some pretty nice seats in his time. He is as spoiled as they come when it comes to baseball games, man. When you and I were kids coming down to Cincinnati with Dad sitting up in the cheap seats, it was just a blast to be there, man. We were just happy to be in the ballpark, and it was a great time. Now he thinks every time we go to a ball game, we got to catch a ball from. That's what's crazy too. We thought Blake Dunn on Friday night as he threw it up into right field. So, but he's right in that strike zone where everybody that sits around us is rooting for him to go home with a ball because they know it'll make his night. And he's still super appreciative, and he's a great kid. And there's nobody I like taking in games more than with the boys. And it's a great time. We'll actually be heading down with you guys tonight. Looking forward to seeing you in the Queen City here. Going down to watch Mariners and Reds, and it's at 6:40. You and your daughter are coming down.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to the ballpark, man. It'll be my first downtown at GABP this year. And so I'm really looking forward to knocking the rust off and getting the 2025 season started with my own eyes.
As we get there, it's going to be a lot of fun. We talked about it on Friday. We said, man, if this team's going to get to where it needs to, Elly's got to be a superstar. Elly was the best player in the series. He might have been the best player in baseball over the weekend. You want to tell us a little bit more about what you saw from Elly and why it's amazing that we obviously, I don't think any of us think that this pitching can go on for the length of the season. Hunter Green's not going to have a sub-1 ERA. Although it would be awesome if he did. Those are Cy Young numbers. He'd have the Cy Young all but locked up if he stays under 2 as an ERA. But we have to expect that this starting pitching will falter at some point in time. But in doing so, you've got to have that all-star. You've got to have that stopper, that big bat in the middle of the lineup. And Elly just created runs, it seemed like, all weekend, whether it was getting on and stealing third, leading to a ball down the line that scores 2 on Friday, to the grand slam on Saturday, to getting on and getting around on Sunday. Just an unbelievable weekend from 44. What were your take from him?
Yeah, you kind of said it, man. I mean, just the electric atmosphere that he brings, especially in the middle of our lineup, man, is something that can't. There's no way to measure that as far as how important it is to this 2025 Cincinnati Reds. We talked about it on Friday. He's got to get on base. He's got to be that spark. Sure enough, Friday night, he's the spark, gets us going, creates the air, and throw into left field, scores a couple runs. And then, of course, the big blast on Saturday on bobblehead night. I mean, you can't write scripts better than that. So, and between him and Hunter Green, I mean, the pitching is definitely not something that you can plan on being this great all year long. But by God, is it fun to watch Hunter. He's just in a completely different mode right now, man. And it seems like it's a Cy Young or bust kind of year for my guy, because he is just on fire right now, man. And it's a lot of fun to watch.
And I think it starts at the top, right? He's your ace. He's the leader of the staff. And I think there's something that he's doing. There are pumps to his chest. There are, little sayings, little, 4-letter words, I think, that he's murmuring out as he's getting some dudes in punch-out situations, that he's got an attitude and a swagger to him that I've not seen from Hunter. And there's a confidence in his ability to, here's what I've got. You can't touch it. And I know you can't touch it. And I'm coming with it. And tell me who else you've seen in our pitching staff, who jumps out at you that has that top-down mentality. Like, our top dog is Hunter Green. He's our ace of the staff. He's leading a staff. Who else have you seen that has that kind of, I'm coming at you and I don't care if you know it?
Emilio Pagan comes to mind right off the get-go. You hand that guy the ball. That guy's got the tenacity to come right at you. And I'll tell you, my other one is Nick Lodolo. But when you have an ace like Hunter Green and he's got that kind of confidence on the mound, you can't tell me that doesn't portray to our 2-starter, our 3-starter, our 4-starter. They want to go out and give their best effort too after seeing what Hunter Green does on the mound. So like we talked about on Friday, iron sharpens iron. And when your ace is going out there and exuding confidence like that and showing these guys how to get it done, it's just going to breed nothing but good pitching on the back end of it too, man. I'm really excited to see what our ace can do for this pitching staff and see what it brings to us long term.
That's wild, because you just came with 2 names that I agree with in Lodolo and Emilio Pagan. And Emilio Pagan throwing 95 to that outer part of the plate, that when he closed the game there on Saturday night, those are dots and absolute rockets. And I mean, that's him getting himself in shape. I don't know if you listened to his Jim Day podcast the other day, but Emilio talked about going on the carnivore diet, dropping 30 pounds, putting a little bit of healthy weight back on, and he's come out in a way that that's not the Emilio Pagan we saw a year ago, but it's an unbelievable asset to have right now. And nobody I'd rather turn the ball over, including we'll get to it here in a little bit, who may be coming back this evening. But when it comes to the dudes that you named, that's not who I had in mind, because Tony Santillan and Graham Ashcraft both have that FU attitude. I'm coming at you. Here's my 7th inning. Here's my 8th inning. Here's whatever situation that this ball club's handed me. I'm not going to be the reason why we lose this ball game today. And those dudes are getting after it. Ian Jabot, after opening day, Ian Jabot's been fantastic. Like, it is
absolutely.
The debacle in San Francisco when you lose 6-1. We talked about that last week in terms of there was a lot of good luck there where balls hit off of gloves. We hit it where they weren't. A lot of different situations. We had some outstanding plays on defense, and then the bullpen kind of falters. But outside of those 2 come from behind wins from San Francisco, the bullpen guys have been unbelievable. Graham's got a swagger to him, and he seems to love the high leverage spots. Tony Santillan has been fantastic. I think somebody said he's been up in 11 of the 13, or not the 13, but 11 of the 16 games already. It seems like he's warming up every night, and they're ready to hand the ball to these guys. And look, nobody's going to be the nasty boys. What Dibble and those guys were able to do back then, and the attitude, and when pitchers were able to run, and Charlton's barreling over catchers, and we're starting fights, and we're just throwing balls at dudes up the line because they backed out on us and tried to bunt. You're never going to get that kind of attitude back. But man, it's amazing to see what happens when you've got a little bit of confidence, and that's what scares the living daylights out of Alexis Diaz coming back tonight. They're going to hand that ball to, let's say we get into a game with the Mariners, we're up 3-2. Here comes the ninth. Turn out the lights. The trumpet starts playing. Here comes Alexis Diaz, and he decides to dance around the strike zone rather than attacking dudes. Like, that is, to me, from a worst Tuesday that could happen, it's Alexis Diaz blowing a save because he's not aggressive enough to hammer in the strike zone. I'm not sure if it's because with him, it's, you don't know if it's he's trying to be cute or he just doesn't have it and can't throw strikes. Like, there are so many situations where Alexis Diaz can be bad that I'm not sure it's worth the risk. But then it goes back to our conversation from Friday where Emilio Pagan is willing to set up for Alexis Diaz. Is Alexis Diaz willing to set up for Emilio Pagan? We don't know. He may not even get called up today. Hell, we don't know. We know he's in Cincinnati. We haven't actually seen these things. We're recording on Monday night, but we fully anticipate him being back. And with Sam Moll going to the IL, the 15-day IL with shoulder impingement, it makes some sense that that's the move to make room for Alexis. But we're going to find out in short order.
And that's kind of my thing. I'm not 100% ready to hand Alexis Diaz the ball in the ninth inning. I understand he's got the mental mindset that he wants to get the biggest 3 outs of the ball game and that sort of stuff. The biggest 3 outs are the 3 outs in front of you, no matter when you come in the ball game. So I'm not sure what kind of mental capacity or what kind of mental headspace he's got to get himself into, but I'm okay with let's not quite throw him to the fire yet. Let's bring Alexis Diaz out in the 7th, see what happens. Then the next game, maybe bring him out in the 8th. See what happens, and let's get his leverage up a little bit and see what we've got, because we already know what we've got with Santillan and Pagan and Ashcraft, the new version of the Nasty Boys, which is exactly what I was thinking when you said we can't get that kind of nasty back, but we're going to be dang close, man. I'm not going to lie to you. These boys, they bring the noise coming out of there, man. You can just see the confidence coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah, and when Diaz is firing 95 and throwing that nasty hook, yes, he lives on 2 pitches, but at the same time, when those 2 pitches are going, he is one of the best closers in baseball. Like, I don't want to shortchange what Alexis Diaz has done in his career and what he could be. Man, can you think about it? We could be in a situation where it's kind of like 2 years ago when you had Hader and Williams both in the bullpen in Milwaukee. You got that game to the 8th inning with the lead, it was over. Because one of them was going to throw the 8th and Williams was going to throw the 8th, Hader's going to throw the 9th. Game's over. Now, the Reds were able to turn a couple of those around, and we beat Hader a couple times, kind of led to his downfall, ended up getting traded away, all that jazz. But if you can get to a situation where you've got 2 setup guys that you absolutely trust in Ashcraft and Tanny Santillan, give Emilio Pagan the 8th and give Alexis Diaz the 9th, it's not crazy to sit here and think that in a playoff setting, Hunter and Nick could get you to the 6th, Graham gets you to the 8th, or Graham gets you through the 7th, Tony gets you through the 8th, Emilio gets you to the 9th, and Alexis Diaz slams the door. Like, that is winning a 5-game set in a nutshell, is get 2 great starts out of each of those guys and get your bullpen doing exactly what they can. And we have an ability to just absolutely suffocate teams. And maybe this pitching can be what leads you to a promised land.
Absolutely. Well, and maybe one of those things, too, where we might not even know who Terry Francona considers his best arm out of the bullpen, because my man's been known to bring his arms out in the 8th inning to get those big outs to get to the 9th inning. He did it with Andrew Miller in Cleveland for a while, and that sort of thing. So Emilio Pagan may be our best arm out of there, and may be the 8th inning guy, and you just give it to Diaz in the 9th because you know that's what he wants, and you know that's where he shines, and he's proven he can do it in the past. But I'm not ready to just hand the ball over to him game 1 and say go get the 3 biggest outs of the ball game after watching what happened on opening day. I'm just not ready to jump off that cliff quite yet.
Well, you better get ready, and you better be ready to dive in, because I'm pretty sure if he's coming back, I think Emilio's kind of alluded to it as well. He said, we've got one of the best closers in baseball that's going to come back and be ready to fire. And you listen, man, if he comes out and goes 1, 2, 3 and slams the door and everything's there, great. But we're going to be there tonight. And when we're sitting there, section 118, if you're in the ballpark, come say, hey, I'll be wearing this hat right here to the ball game tonight. But when it comes to Alexis Diaz walking the bases loaded, or however many runs you're up, the tying runs coming to the plate. It's just what we always have kind of joked about. Like, does the tying run see the plate when you're up by 4, when you're up by 5? But if they give Diaz a high leverage situation, I'd be curious to see, is it the right part of the order? Is it Julio Rodriguez and JP Crawford and Randy Arozarena, or is it the bottom of their lineup? Because I think that's a significant difference too, because these guys are kind of on the top heavy side, the Mariners. And so, does he throw the 8th because that's where the meat of the order is, or do they try to just give him the ninth and set things up for, and with a permanent closer set up, kind of rolling forward. But no, really interesting to see. It's crazy. And I joked about it earlier about how it feels like opening day part 2. Now that we're back to 500, we're level set. We've got 3 games at home. We're ready to go tonight. You could have, I say could have. Let's talk in absolutes. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. Austin Hayes is back tonight. Matt McLain's back tonight. Alexis Diaz is back tonight. That's 3 dudes that are starters that get you, or I say starters. Those are 3 dudes that you're going to count on for a significant portion of this season and to play absolutely massive roles. What do you hope to see out of Matt McLain and Austin Hayes as they come back into the lineup?
Just be that spark. I don't expect them to set the world on fire, especially coming back game 1. Hayes coming off the injury, obviously, and McLain too, obviously. But I don't expect them to set the world on fire. But just be that spark. Matt McLain brings that hustle that everybody else kind of feeds off of. Obviously, we're not 100% sure what Austin Hayes brings in the regular season atmosphere, but I feel like his power in the middle of the lineup is definitely going to take some pressure off the guys at the back end of our lineup. And so I would love for them to be a little bit of a spark and start bringing some of the confidence back to this offense. If we could start seeing some of the confidence at the plate that we're seeing on the pitching mound, we're definitely going to have a good ball club.
It's going to be nice for me. I think my most exciting piece about those 2 coming back, and again, we're speaking hypothetically, recording on Monday night. We would imagine these moves are made on Tuesday. If those 2 are back in the lineup tonight, that kicks dudes down in the lineup for me that I hope then they see better pitches. Noel Marte, Jeimer Candelario, Spencer Steer, getting those guys into 6, 7, 8 where they belong, where they've produced like these guys, when the pressure's off of them to not be the table setter, they're now just the kind of the cleanup. And if they contribute, they contribute. But when you've got Matt, Elly, Friedel, Hayes, eventually Stevenson, when those are your first 5, that's a great, start to the lineup. Let Jeimer, CES, Marte, let those guys be. If they hit, great. If they don't, that's okay too. But right now, we're counting on, if Jeimer doesn't hit that bomb on Friday night, we're probably looking at losing the first game of the series. We're 1 swing of the bat, like Trace talked about yesterday. We're 1 swing of the bat from Elly on that grand slam from that game getting away from us. Like, we have gotten the clutch hit to go with the very good pitching, but we're now in a spot where you've got to expect a little bit more from these bats to wake up. But I think in doing so, you're trimming a little bit of the fat. You're adding to the top end and you're subtracting from the bottom. Jake Fraley doesn't need to see as many at bats. Gavin Lux is still going to be a professional hitter, hopefully in like that 5 hole. Blake Dunn's not going to see as many at bats. Hurtubise, if he's still the bench guy, I still like him in a pinch hit capacity because he's proven he's able to do it. Like, there's a lot of guys there that I think there's going to be the pressure off, but still we need to have eyes on, because if they're not producing, we need to start to figure it out. We need to, if this 4A outfielder doesn't work, we need to go get the other 4A outfielder up here and give him a shot until we figure out some kind of run production at the bottom of the lineup. What are your thoughts there?
Absolutely. Well, and just to your point, when you are trying to get those guys right and you can actually plug them in the right spots in the lineup, in the 7 hole and the 8 hole, and they're going to see more fastballs, there's no better way to get right than to start seeing a lot of fastballs in the back end of the lineup. So having those guys back would definitely help solidify everything.
Yeah, and it was crazy, man. I was sitting there in the ballpark on Friday, and I had just gone through the ringer of, we don't have professional hitters. We can't take pitches. We can't do that. First thing that happens on Friday night, the first 3 guys walk, and I'm like, oh, we spoke it into existence. This is unbelievable. Like, we've actually, it's like the Red Seas parted and they could see clearly that, hey, man, we don't have to swing at everything. We can run this guy deep and get into the bullpen. And then by Sunday, you're into their 7th and 8th reliever. And then we take care of business and things we tack on, and we're able to play add-on late in a ball game when Santiago Espinal gets a couple of bolsters. So just an unbelievable situation in terms of, how we felt going into that Pirates series after the blown 6-1 lead in San Francisco to after. It goes from, we're rooting for a team and hoping for the best, to now we're starting to get to a level of expectation. And I think that's where I want to go with the show now.
Deep South Commodities is a proud supporter of Chatterbox Reds and our Deep Drive of the Day, and DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. thanks as always to our friends at DSC. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Chatterbox Sports. If you're like me and you always are trying to get last-minute tickets, not sure when you're going to be able to get down to the ballpark, Game Time is the best app for that. The best last-minute deals. Even if you wait till the last minute, you can still find deals sometimes even better than you would have found earlier in the week. Some of my favorite features of Game Time is they have all-in pricing. It shows you your total with fees before checking out. They have a panoramic seat view in their app. You can see exactly where your seat is, get a great view and layout of the land. They also have event cancellation protection, automatic full refunds for events that are canceled and not rescheduled, and as always, the lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code CBOX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code CBOX, CBOX, for $20 off. What time is it? Game Time. And we also want to remind you that you can call or text 988 anytime, day or night. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health. Whether it's an immediate crisis, simply wanting to find out how to connect with care, or anything in between, it's a 100% confidential, secure, and anonymous way to reach out for help when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call or text 988 or visit mantherapy.org to get help. It's okay not to be okay.
I've been a Reds fan my entire life, and what do they always? I've never really seen a winner. We've seen one playoff series. We were at the Game 4 when Buster Posey absolutely crushes our hopes and dreams by sending a grand slam up into the bleachers. But in doing so, that electricity in the ballpark and everything was there. But even that day, I remember leaving going, I thought it might be a little bit more. You watch the games in Philadelphia. You watch the games in, let's say, Atlanta or New York or wherever that is, and you feel the crowd coming through your TV speakers. I don't know what we have to do, and like I said, we've been a fan my entire life, only recently lived here and had the opportunity to go to a lot of games. They've always said that if this team starts to win, you'll find out how good of a baseball town Cincinnati is. We're getting to a put up or shut up time, I think, with this team. We are 8-8. Does that mean we're going to set the world on fire and we're going to, be leading the division at the All-Star? Hell, who knows? But at the same time, if this team wins, I want to see how this city responds, because in the short stretches that we've had in success, I was there the night that Elly hit for the cycle. That's the most electric I've ever seen a ballpark, and that was so much fun. It was the Braves were in town. Everybody was on their feet. But even then, I don't know, and I hate to tell people how to fan, but there are big spots in a game where the crowd can actually make an impact, and I'm not sure that Cincinnati's ready to take that threshold. You're going to the ballpark for the first time tonight. What do you want as a fan, as somebody that's invested in every pitch? What can you do as a fan sitting in the ballpark that can help this team along? What do you see when you watch the Phillies and, you get everybody singing along to a song, and then, Bryce Harper hits a dinger to start the game and everybody's going electric? How do you build that atmosphere here? What does Cincinnati need to do in order to get things going in the right direction as a fan base in the stadium?
You're just not sitting on your hands, man. You got to be that guy that decides you're going to make some noise when you show up. It doesn't have to be the last out of the ninth inning, man. When there's big pitches with one out and a guy on first, and you know what I mean, in the sixth inning, there's big pitches there too. So you just got to decide you're going to be put the fan in fanatical, man. Like we always say, you didn't come to the ballpark to eat expensive hot dogs and drink expensive beer and that sort of stuff. You're going to watch the game on TV. Come to the ballpark, make some noise, get behind your guys, root your guys on. Our guys feed off of stuff like that, man. Watching firsthand what the Bengals did a couple years ago, making the Super Bowl run, the camaraderie and the team building that went with it was just absolutely electric. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a winning culture and putting a winner on the field consistently. We were doing that in 2023. You see what happens on the Elly, those big nights for Elly, that sort of stuff. So just decide you're going to be that guy. Make some noise. When you're the guy clapping and yelling for a big pitch, the guy next to you is going to be like, "Hey, man, this guy's into it. I should probably get into it too." So some of us just deciding to be that guy, and I'm not here to tell everybody how to fan either. There's something to be said for the guy that's keeping the scorebook in the outfield and that sort of stuff, and he's kind of going on. So I appreciate every Reds fan. But by the same token, let's make some noise. Let's get behind these boys. And it's contagious, man. It's like everything else. Once you start doing it, the guy beside you start doing it. Next thing you know, we got the whole crowd into it.
And I mean, just Game Time's a sponsor here, you know, with Chatterbox, and I'm not, you know, no free ads, but I think these guys are going to get a free one for me. I'm sitting here looking at it right now. Tomorrow night you can get in for $12. On Wednesday you can get in for $11. On Thursday you can get in for $11. And so if you're on the Game Time app and you go on there right now, for under $20 you can get down to the ballpark, get parked, and get in. Now I understand cost of living's up, everything's up. You know, it's not a cheap adventure to get down there. Come out on Tuesday. Tonight is 3-2-1 night. You can get a $3 beer, $2 hot dog, and $1 ice cream. For under $100, a family of four can go down, eat dinner, watch the ball game, and be a part of this thing. Now, is that available to everybody? No, it's not. I get it. But inside the ballpark, the one thing that, and I think Trace has alluded to it too, we got to quit doing the damn wave. Like, the wave has to stop. I am anti-wave. That is not good baseball. There might be a time where, you know, we can do the wave in between innings just so that everybody can feel cool about themselves and get their hands up. But when we're trying to win a baseball game, I would rather sit next to the guy that knows that Julio Rodriguez is coming up, and this is probably going to be his last time through the order, and that Nick Lodolo's on the end of his rope, and he's, you know, sitting at 98 pitches, and he needs that little bit of extra juice to put Julio Rodriguez back on the bench so that we can close out this game and get this thing to the 8th and 9th inning. I want the energy there. I want the fans that know what's going on in the ball game. Do you have to know every opponent roster? No, but understand what big situations are. Because for right now, the only time people understand is like, oh, well, I guess it's about time to go. I better get out of my seat, start packing up our stuff. We'll clap our hands. Oh, good. We got the out. There goes the fireworks. Great time. Good job, Red. So let's get out of here. We'll see you next week. But it's a situation that even if it's for the entire 9th inning, like if that's our thing, the entire 9th inning, nobody sits. Hell, flash it on the video board. Nobody sits. Everybody up on your feet. Let's go. Let's get this thing going. And I understand that, you know, I don't want to talk to the outlier that's, well, what if I can't stand? I get that. If you have to sit for medical, whatever that is, I get it. You're the outlier, not the rule. And so get off your butt, figure out what's going on in the game. Let's start creating some big energy atmosphere in this ballpark as things warm up. And hopefully this team does as well. If you want to be considered a baseball city and all of the, you know, wait till Cincinnati gets a good team rolling, it's time to prove it. Because I'm telling you right now, that San Francisco Giants series from 10 years ago, that we were okay, I guess. Like it got okay. But a part of that too was those games were at like 4:00 in the afternoon, just an absolutely awkward time. They absolutely screwed us on the TV schedule side of things.
Right. And that's the other part of it. It's still school time. We still got kids to get to school in the morning and, you know what I mean, that sort of stuff. So once we get to the summertime, ballpark atmosphere, that sort of thing, I think it'll actually start to pick up too. Don't get me wrong. The atmosphere in the ballpark's definitely been there, man. But speaking of that first Giants series, when they started doing the pitch clock, was it the Giants series? I believe it was the Giants series, where they started doing the pitch clock countdown. That got in my guy's head big time, and we ended up chasing the starter because of it. So the electricity is definitely there. The possibility is there. Cincinnati gets excited for good baseball. So once we start getting a good product on the field, we'll definitely start bouncing around. But let's you and I do our part when we're in the stadium tomorrow and see if we can't get a couple of fans going around us. When you get an atmosphere like that, like the Johnny Cueto in Pittsburgh, I have never seen a starting pitcher get rattled quite like Cueto did that night. So when you get the fans in the stands going along with your team playing well, it just creates an electric atmosphere. So let's do our part as well.
Yeah, and it's just that situational awareness of understanding when big moments are coming. You know what I mean? You watch a game and you get the ebbs and flows, and maybe you get up and go to the bathroom, you miss half an inning, whatever it is, whatever it may be. Just when you have the opportunity and the team needs a little bit of juice, like don't be afraid to give it to them, man. Get on your feet, clap a little louder. Now, do I want to be that guy that's standing there giving it one of these, you know, and throwing your hands up in the air and acting like a Yahoo every time that, you know, I think there's a big moment and that everybody should fan exactly like me? No, you should throw peanuts at that guy. I'm completely in line with that. But the first person you should throw peanuts at is the first guy that goes, all right, everybody, we're going to do the wave. 1, 2, 3. Just drill that guy right between the eyes whenever you get the chance, because he's not there to watch the game. He's there to make a spectacle and say, man, look what we did. He's there for his show. He's there for Instagram. He's there for the clicks. He's not there to actually help this team win a baseball game, which a fan base can. Like, and at the end of the day, that's what – are we going to make it – are we going to go out and get any RBIs? No. Can we give a little bit of extra and make a fastball go from 96 to 98 to put out a key hitter at a hard spot in the game? Possibly. Could it also lead to Alexis Diaz throwing one over the backstop in the ninth? Yep. It can go the other way too. There could be guys that get too juiced up. But at the same time, you want that ballpark atmosphere. And like I said, the game last year when Elly hit for the cycle, there was so much going on. Votto's hitting a bomb. Elly's getting around, or not Votto. This was 2 years ago. Votto's hitting a bomb. Everything's going off. Like the whole stadium's just on edge the entire. I think that game ends up 11-9 or 12-10, something along those lines, and it's a back and forth. We all know Elly's got a chance for the side. Like, it's just an unbelievable atmosphere, and it was cool because that's what it took. But the Braves were a good team, and that's how you take a team like that down. It's got to be everybody together. So when it comes to these series that are coming up, get your opportunity, get on Game Time, find some tickets, get down to the ballpark, because these guys, if things keep trending in the right direction and we get healthy and these guys come back, it's very much going to be worth being there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what do we got coming up, man? Who we got throwing tomorrow in the Mariners series?
So tonight we've got Luis Castillo against Nick Lodolo. I know that's one of the main primary reasons why you're wanting to come down. So tell me a little bit about it.
I just want to see Nick Lodolo pitch in person. Plus, Luis Castillo was always one of my favorite guys on the mound. When he's right, man, his stuff is electric too. So I'm hoping we can jump on him early and kind of rattle him a little bit. But just the prospect of watching Lodolo in person, man, I really like what I'm seeing off the mound this year. Strikeout numbers are down a little bit as far as that's concerned, but my man's becoming more of a pitcher. He's learning how to pinpoint his pitches when he needs to and that sort of stuff. And so I'm really looking forward to bringing an electric atmosphere to what's going to be a good night at the ballpark.
Yeah, and I think with Castillo, it's one of those things that let me double check the weather here, but he was always a guy that struggled when it was cold. Castillo enjoyed the July days here in Great American, and he was always electric, and he would get up and get rolling there. But tomorrow, I think the highs are in the 50s. So if that wind picks up and it gets a little chilly tomorrow night, that might be in our favor. But I think with one thing you touched on there with Lodolo, with the strikeout numbers being down, I think it's and I don't know if this is a Derek Johnson thing, but pitching to contact is something that these guys have started to take a liking to. And when the ballpark's not playing like Great American Airport and the balls are flying out here, there, and everywhere, I think it's one of those situations where the idea of like Nick Lodolo pitching to contact is exciting to me. And I don't know if that's a philosophy from the top down, but like Hunter Green becomes more pitch efficient. His strikeout numbers actually were there the other day, and that's because he's attacking dudes and then his stuff matches up. But I think somebody like a Nick Lodolo, the strikeout number doesn't scare me, because I'm hoping it's a philosophy change from the top down that, dude, pitch to contact, because we're going to play some really good defense here too. Santiago Espinal every day somewhere with the glove in the field. Elly just absolutely tracking down balls like a hawk and covering a third of it by himself. If you can get some decent outfield play, I know we've seen some good plays from Jake Fraley. We've seen some terrible plays from Jake Fraley. Gavin Lux fielding that ball off the wall was really exciting. CES was playing a decent defensive first base. Like, just if this team continues to play defense behind them, pitching to contact becomes a strength of this team, and it becomes more pitch efficient. When everything becomes easier. Your bullpen's more rested because we went 6 instead of 5, and all of these things just get better. The strikeout number for Nick Lodolo doesn't scare me as much, because, like I said, hopefully it's a philosophy thing that we're just going to pitch to contact and get it figured out. And here early in the season, like I said, it's going to be a high 51 tomorrow. Hopefully Luis Castillo still struggles in the cold a little bit, and we can take advantage of that and jump all over him.
Yeah, absolutely. We've definitely seen the cold struggles with Luis Castillo. Plus the Mariners struggle a little bit with left-handed pitching. They're batting like 195 against left-handed pitching. So they should be a good night for Lodolo to get on and stay on track, man, and keep his ERA numbers down. So I'm pretty excited to be there in person. Can't wait.
And I don't think Lodolo is the kind of guy that likes to play second fiddle. I don't think he's ever been that. When he was at TCU and stuff, I don't know that he was ever okay with being a number 2 starter. He was the ace of the staff. And so when you get into a situation where Hunter Green's setting the table like he is, like you said, it pushes these other guys. Iron sharpens iron. Nick Lodolo wants to be 1B, not 2. He wants to be that. He wants to be we want 2 aces. We don't want a 1A, I'm sorry. We don't want Hunter to be the 1 and Nick Lodolo to be there be a gap, and then Nick Lodolo's your 2. He wants to step up and serve the the same kind of vengeance that Hunter's been able to deal out there right now. But no, as we look here towards the end of the month, we went over the schedule the last time. There are 5 series here before the end of April, starting with Seattle, Baltimore, and then Miami, Colorado, and St. Louis. You need to win 4 out of those 5 series. And it starts tonight. If you lose tonight, if you lose this series, you better go down and take care of business in Baltimore. Now's not the time to go backwards. It's time to dig your heels in and start to expect to win baseball games, because the talent's here. The starting pitching is there. The hitting has to come along in order for us to get anywhere worth of value. But in the meantime, if your pitching can carry you, with the pit that is the bottom of our order becomes more extrapolated when the pitching is that good. If we continue to lose ball games 1-0 or 3-1 and things like that, and that the offensive efficiency is not there, if you're still somehow able to be a 500 baseball team when it comes time to make some moves, at the trade deadline, you have to go get a bat. It just makes those things stand out even more. So continue to play the baseball that you have been. We're going to win ugly. I get it. And when you have a chance to blow somebody out with 14 runs, by all means, we'll take that too. But we have to figure out a way to just scratch and claw and fight and understand that every run's going to be important, because our staff's not going to give up many. So really excited to see us try to take on these, the end of the month, and hopefully be, 3-4 games above 500 at the end of April, and feeling really good as things start to warm up. And so hopefully so do our bats.
You're exactly right. Love to see this offense going and match some of the pitching performances that we're getting. Obviously, this weekend was a good start, getting 3 from Pittsburgh. So let's just keep the ball rolling, man, and bring the energy to the stadium and get behind our boys here, and let's get on a run.
Yeah, sounds like a winner to me, man. Going to be in the ballpark, like we said. Going to be in section 118. If you see us, stop by, say hey. Would love to, give you a high five. And shoot, at $3 a beer, I could probably get you one. That's not a problem. Got to be 21 though. But we're going to get it figured out, man. But I think that's going to wrap it up for us today. Again, happy opening day, part 2 to everybody. We're having an 8-8 baseball team. You can get into the ballpark for under $15 for all 3 of the next 3 games on Game Time. Get out, get your tickets, get down and see these boys. It's going to be a lot of fun. Corey T, you got anything else?
As always, go Reds.